Okay, so we are going to replace the rotors today. Well, not replace them, we're going to resurface them. To get to this point, you can watch my other video about the brakes. Pads are removed. So what we got to do is get the rotor off. There are two things holding it in place. Number one, the caliper is in the way, so we'll have to remove it. And number two, you have these little screws right over here. The screws can be tough, they may be easy, it depends. My car's pretty new, so the other side went off pretty easy, but just in case, you should have one of these impact screwdrivers right over here. They're really heavy duty, but let's see how this one goes. You might just be able to turn it off. Yeah, see, that just loosened just fine. Let's try this one. Yeah, see, so those loosen just fine, but if not, you need one of these. You gotta set it correctly to loosen, and then turn it, and then hit the back of it at the same time, and it'll loosen them. So I'm going to go ahead and take these off, and then the next thing we want to do is take off the caliper itself. And you can do that right back here. There are these two 17mm bolts like that, and then just take, you know, a 1/2 inch drive and go ahead and loosen both of them. There's one up top, and then there's one, you can't really see it. There it is, right over there. And then there's one on the bottom. So go ahead and loosen both of those, and then I'll show you what's next here. Okay, so we went ahead and removed the screws all the way. They're there, right there. And then we also removed the caliper mounting bolts, both of them, from back there. And then you can see I just kind of set it on top. You can use some wire or whatever and hook it up there if you want, it doesn't matter. I just set mine on top, which is fine. So now to get the rotor off, most of the time it's going to be kind of rusted and frozen in on there. So what you want to do is, you see the caliper mounting holes right over there. Take a 1/2 inch drive wrench and kind of wedge it in between there, and then you can kind of push against it and it'll pop it off. Oh, see, it did. I barely even did it and it came off. Yeah, so it's not too bad. At least the fronts aren't too bad. There you go. So that's off. The fronts are the easiest ones. The rears are a little more difficult, but the concept is exactly the same. So there are the fronts off. I'm gonna go ahead and pause it, and then we'll move to the rear. Okay, so now on to the rears. Again, just like the fronts, I went ahead and just took out the pads already. And the concept is exactly the same. We're going to take out these rotor retainer screws, and then we're going to go to the back and then remove these caliper mounting bolts. They're the same size as the front. There's that one down there. This guy. Exact same concept as the front. So let's start off with these screws and see if we're as lucky as we were on the fronts, and see if these come off or if we need to use this thing. Oh yeah, see, that came off really easy. And this one, yeah. So I lucked out. My screws were on not too tight. I mean, this is a really big Phillips head and it fits in there perfectly. So yeah. And then I'm going to go ahead and loosen these right over here. And then I'll show you with those things loosened and the caliper off. Okay, so we went ahead and took that off, exactly the same as the front. I went ahead and just set the caliper up on top on one of the control arms here. Only thing that matters is that there's no real tension on that hose. But these really aren't that heavy anyway, so if it did hang on, it wouldn't be the worst thing in the world, but whatever. And then these screws, I have not taken them out all the way yet, so let's go ahead and do that. Oops. There's that one, and this one. I've had cars in the past where these screws are almost impossible to get off, but that impact driver is very helpful. This little thing is just a little it's a little rubber stopper. You can pop that off and you can look at the brake hardware inside and loosen or tighten it or whatever, but we don't have to worry about that. Okay, so the rears are a lot more difficult than the fronts to get the rotors off. I spent a lot of time on the other side, and then I finally figured it out. We'll do the exact same concept as before. We wedge our wrench in like that, and then you just kind of yank on it really hard. We'll try one down below. And I'm probably going to have to do this two-handed. I'm just seeing if I can do it one-handed. And it doesn't look like I'll be able to. Yeah. Alright, okay, so I'm going to put the camera down and then we'll try it again. Okay, we're making progress on it. Looks like on this side, put it in that spot. And actually if you push it forward, like smack it, and then it starts to come off. There we go. Okay. Yeah. So again, just put this 1/2 inch wrench in there, and then just, grab your palm and then just smack it forward a few times, and then it'll give up. And it'll pop off, just like this. Pop it off so you can see. Don't worry about getting a hammer. I spent hours hammering the other side, and it was all totally useless. There we go. So there it is. There's the rear rotor out, and you can see the parking brake on the inside. Just like a bunch of other cars, they have this exact same design. And then this little peephole with the rubber stopper, you can line it up to reach this little star screw thing, and you can loosen or tighten the parking brake. So yeah, but that's it. For me, I'm going to get these rotors resurfaced. I'm still going to keep these ones. I'm not putting new ones on. And I got new brake pads. Apparently Hawk makes brake pads for our cars now, the G70 and the Stinger, Brembo equipped. And I'm putting on the HP Plus pads on there after I get these resurfaced. So yeah, hopefully that helps.